pre-retirement leave. And let me say further, in 2018, when President Granger wanted to appoint the Commissioner of Police and Deputy Commissioner of Police, he held consultation with the opposition leader, Mr. Barrett Jagdeo. In that meeting, you had Mr. Barrett for representing the opposition, you had Mr. Barrett Jagdeo, you had Ms. Gail Teixeira, and you had Mr. Irfan Ali. They were part of that consultation. He also held consultation with me as chairman of the Police Service Commission at separate time. I'm not sure if it's after or before, but a separate consultation. And I had already consulted with members of the other members of the Police Service Commission, and we made recommendations. So I don't know what the Attorney General is talking about. He ran to this newspaper, the Chronicle. He didn't go to the newspaper. Let me be correct. Gone to the newspaper. They pulled it up off of his Facebook page. And they wrote this article. Some staff reporter wrote this article. So those are the facts. Those are the facts. And facts are stubborn things. Again, I say, look at the timeline. Again, I emphasize, Happy was never made acting commissioner of police. Never, ever made acting commissioner of police. As a matter of fact, for the duration, about 17 months, that Happy carried out the functions, he continued to wear the badge of rank of Deputy Commissioner of Police. Akin is acting, so he is wearing the badge of rank of the Commissioner of Police, even though he put him on rank in the first instance. Even though he prematurely wore it, and he had the decorations in the wrong order. Right? So let me understand. Well, let me bring in CC, and then I can come back to y'all, man. CC, what is your take on this constitutional atrocity that the Attorney General is talking about?
Like you, Paul, I hold no brief for APNU or anybody in this matter. I have my own personal views, and I've been expressing my views on law enforcement for a number of years. Even when the APNU was in government, I was critical in certain things that they did. Now, Paul, a couple sessions ago, you mentioned about dog whistle. I read the Chronicle. I also read Facebook page on Nandlall. And there was a dog whistle because he said that the media should take it up. And lo and behold, the Saturday was the article from the Chronicle, dog whistle. Now, the thing is that the Constitution is clear. And the Constitution is specific. The law has got to be specific. The Constitution talk about acting commissioner or acting deputy commissioner. It doesn't talk about the person who's performing the duties of the commissioner. And as you rightly mentioned, I remember a couple of times you held on a bit there, although you didn't buy any drinks for that. But you know, the thing is that they talk about the acting commissioner, and it said that there must be consultation, meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition and the chairman of the Police Service Commission, who would have consulted with other members. And the letter is clear. That letter, according to what the attorney general said, is that the PS appointed. The PS can't appoint nobody. And the letter talk about how he will perform the duties. I saw the letter. For the matter, I can tell tales of the school. Happy showed me a copy of the letter. And Happy was never acting as commissioner. As you rightly say, he wore the badge of rank of a deputy commissioner. And about 100 times in my oral and written presentation, I always refer to Happy as the man who's performing the duties of commissioner, not acting. He didn't act. And thing to note also is that for the how much months Happy was there, he never received a cent as an acting commissioner. You know, when you're acting in certain position, you're entitled to monetary awards on your salary. Happy never received a cent as acting commissioner of police. Never ever. And some of those who are masquerading, understand they're getting acting allowance, understand they're getting also a responsibility allowance. Some of the masqueraders, Happy never receive any responsibility allowance or acting allowance. And then the thing is, if Nandalala discovered that, he didn't challenge it. He's quick to get off the block. Perhaps faster than Ben Johnson. Quick to get off the block in illegal letters. He has not challenged. Why are you waiting now and erase it? Perhaps it might be a case of misbehavior in public office. Because you're there, it is your constitutional role. You found that the Constitution was breached. You found that there was a blatant violation of the letter, spirit, and intent of some of the most sacrosanct constitutional procedure in democratic countries. President and prime ministers have been impeached for fireless. Those are the words of Nandlall in the Calvin Duncan matter. So perhaps they're coming back to haunt him. He discovered it, and he has done absolutely nothing but it. But now he, for some strange reasons, maybe he must wake up on the other side of the bed, or maybe his keyboard malfunction when he took typed that thing on his Facebook. So the whole thing is that Happy was never ever appointed an acting commissioner of police. The letter from the permanent secretary said that he was performing the functions of the commissioner of police. Over to you, Paul.
Yeah, and how more often can we tell this to these people? And as you rightly said, Tom, you said you had a dog whistle, and following the dog whistle, Chronicle run and they publish. But if they could have done the research, they should have done. This staff writer could have done the research and see that what the Attorney General is saying is not correct. They could have seen it, and you could have, just like how I did the timeline, you could have looked at the timeline and to see, again, I say, the letter is dated the 30th. Let me put it up back. Let me put up back this letter. The letter, and because this is what I think they're basing the argument on. Because this letter is carried in the Chronicle, in the article, carries the letter dated the 30th of July. The letter is dated the 30th of July. And it says that, and it is addressed to Leslie James, DSS, DSM. Not to Happy, to Leslie James, to tell him that permission has been granted for him to go on 274 days leave from the 31st day of July 2020. And you could see to whom the letter was copied. Not to Happy, which I've always said is wrong. Because if Happy has to carry out the functions, then he ought to have been written to tell him that he cannot the function. I was written to when I had to carry out the functions. So Happy really staying there by word of mouth. Happy stayed in there by word of mouth. Poor chap. No wonder if he ain't got no money, he ain't got no money. Poor chap. So then, as I said, James went on leave Friday, the 31st of July. The next day, Saturday, the 1st of August. The following day, Sunday, the 2nd of August, President sworn in. Nandlall sworn in. So at what stage? Let me assume, for argument's sake, that you wanted to make Happy, the coalition government wanted to make Happy acting commissioner of police. Because you couldn't have promoted commissioner because James was still the commissioner on pre-retirement leave. So the protocol is you have to wait until James demitted office, which he did. I think it was on the 1st of April or 1st of May 2021. Right? You have to wait until then. So he could have been made acting. So what consultation you're talking about, AG? Tell us. Pray, tell us what consultation, when this consultation was to be done. If this man went and leave the Friday and the government changed the Sunday. Where, when, how? And if you're talking so much about this consultation, as the colleague pointed out, you observe this constitutional atrocity. You, as the Attorney General, observe this constitutional atrocity. Why did you not fix it? You're the opposition leader from September 2020 in the person of Mr. Joe Armand. You had a police service commission in place. I was the chairman of that police service commission. Why did you not advise the president to initiate the process to appoint Api either as acting commissioner or commissioner, well, when once James left as commissioner, acting in the first instance? Why did you not do that? And as CC said, there might be dereliction of duty. Why did you not? You had about 9 months. You had about 9 months. And you did not do anything. Now you jump on the thing. As a man who brought the thing to my attention said, maybe the Attorney General, the drunk when he, that's what the person said. I'm not saying, I don't know if he was drunk, but the person telling me, the person who brought it to my attention, that maybe the Attorney General was drunk when he made this post on Facebook. And the Chronicle, as CC said, you get it, the whistle, the Chronicle, rather than doing some research, because they said this thing posted on his Facebook page the Friday night, that's what they say. And the very next day, so they didn't take no research, they took his word as on face value, and you see what happened? You see what has happened? And let me tell you something, the dishonesty and the unprofessionalism in these people, nobody can come now and retract what they wrote. They say, well, they made a mistake. Nobody will do that, none. And that is why I say it is important that we use programs like these. It is important that we use programs like these to let people know what the facts are. And I will continue to do so. I will continue to call them out. Every opportunity that I get, I will continue to call them out. I will continue to do so. Their point, Ikin, and then again, I think this is in response to the challenge brought to Ikin's extension. And I know CCU wrote something recently about that. And maybe you can tell our audience, tell our students something more about that extension that you wrote about.
The Attorney General mentioned an act, I think it's 2712 or thereabout, which said that the president can extend the service of a commissioner of police after consultation with the chairman of the Police Service Commission and after the Prime Minister has concurred. That act was 2 years prior to the Constitution. And you got to remember that the Constitution is the supreme law. Any other law that collides as that law, they collided with the Constitution, has got to be fatal, like what happened on our roads. Whether they want to call it a fatal incident or a fatal accident. That the Constitution is the supreme law. And the Constitution never mentioned anything about extension of a commissioner of police. Nothing in the talk about an appointment commissioner or acting appointment. Perhaps the framers of the Constitution did not contemplate that a time would have come when an assistant commissioner of police services would have been extended as an acting commissioner of police. So that law has fatally collided with the Constitution. And then also the Constitution said, you can't get away from that every commissioner or deputy commissioner will be appointed by the president after meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition. And in Hickins' extension, the leader of the opposition was not consulted. And the law speaks of what should happen. They want to go with what will happen. What is meaningful consultation? What is meaningful consultation? So the whole thing is wrong. And what Nandlall did, he quoted a part of the law which appeared to be favorable with him, but the other parts, he didn't mention it, which also saying that the service should be extended before the man has reached 55 years of age. It is clear before 55 years of age he must be, and you can't extend something that has already expired. He cannot already reach 55, and after he can reach 55, then you're going to say that you you extended it. And I won't be surprised because I have no confidence in the chairman of the Police Service Commission. I will always remember the bishop, and we don't have good dealings with bishops. Where the bishop said on the 1st of July last year that he was awaiting the the recommendations from the Commission of Police for persons to be appointed, promoted, and on the second, 250 something odd persons were promoted by the Police Service Commission. They they couldn't do any due diligence. Therefore, you had at least three senior superintendents who had disciplinary matters, serious disciplinary matters pending, were promoted. You had a senior superintendent who had disciplinary matters promoted. You had an assistant superintendent who had disciplinary matters promoted. You had an inspector who had disciplinary matters promoted. You had serious supersessions. You had persons who didn't pass the promotion exam promoted, and a whole host of irregularities took place. So I won't be surprised if the doctor records, and I also remember the Prime Minister purportedly signed an affidavit, which I saw, which was a part of a court document, stating that you, Paul, didn't have any meeting with the president when there is when you said that there was a meeting, and also the government released that there was a meeting. So I won't be surprised if they hustle and they backdate things, if they're going to cut the records to show that meeting take place, to show that they had meaningful consultation with the president. So if I hear me surprised if they commit perjury to show that things was done. So the whole thing really is Hickens extension is illegal, and I'm happy that the leader of the opposition has challenged it through the girl Carol Joseph, and I don't want this matter to be dealt with at the High Court. It must go all the way to the CCJ. It is crying out for judicial review, and they're picking the fruits of the poisonous tree. What Nandlall is doing is nibbling around the edges of the Constitution. Nibbling around the edges of the Constitution. The Constitution is clear in terms of the appointment of commissioner and deputy commissioner, and it has nothing to do with extension. There's an old law that, as I mentioned, that has collided fatally with the Constitution, and it has to bow down to the Constitution and say, mea culpa, mea culpa.
Well said. You know, they say in a statement here, let me read it, the same part, that said, Paul Slowe and Clinton Conway write excessively in the newspapers on legal issues concerning the police force. I said, but today they have not uttered a word about this horrible constitutional atrocity. Now, I don't know that I write about legal issues concerning the police force. I know I write about issues concerning the police force. I recall, and let me remind the Attorney General that one of the issues that we raised on this program, CC raised it, was the Police Service Commission, whether it was properly constituted. I remember they swore in the Police Service Commission the chairman, and at the time they did not have the chairman of the Public Service Commission. And the Constitution says that the Public Service Commission chairman is a member of the Police Service Commission. So we pointed out to them that in the absence of the chairman of the Public Service Commission, the Police Service Commission could not have been fully constituted according to the commission.